Hi, thanks for joining us. Today we're looking at the 4 secrets of strength training for swimming. Let's go ahead. I'm going to share the screen and we're going to get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to introduce the 4 layers of strength workout design, why they have such an impact on swimmers, and the critical role they play in your future. However, you notice that the presentation is the 4 secrets of strength training for swimming. You know what? Honestly, it shouldn't be secret. This is a really important thing to know for everyone. So if you're getting involved in high performance swimming or competitive swimming at a higher level, you really want to start to understand these 4 pieces because they'll have a major impact in how you perform. So let's go ahead, and our next step here is we're going to go ahead, and the first thing I want to realize is that we aren't, in this case, just trying to get fit. We're training to perform. So one of the main differences between strength training programs designed for general population and ones that are designed for high performance swimmers is the need for a seasonal plan to target a specific performance goal. This is essential. If you don't have that, and we notice a lot of times people are just designing training programs that have no taper, for instance. Well, if you don't have a taper, this really can't be designed for peak performance at any point. So we know that we need that. And that's one of the things that we look at is a lot of these organizations that design strength training programs don't design them because their general population is what they're really designing them for. They don't have any tapers. And if they don't have any tapers, you can understand right away there's something wrong. And there should be certain phases that you move through, and then you get a build up, you get a taper, and you get these 3 phases that we'll be talking about. So this is really, really important. So our muscles need to perform at high levels to achieve our goals. Effectively implementing this particular system, right, which has been proven will cause muscular adaptation to occur with the purpose of expanding your endurance, increasing your mass, and improving your strength. And it's all adjustable depending on what it is that you need, because each person is going to be a little different. So let's move right into the layers. So the first layer, layer 1 of the 4 layers, is what's called your muscular profile. Here you can see a picture of the muscles, right? You can see over here, this is the front of the avatar, and here's the back of the avatar, right? And you can see all these different muscles listed. Now, when we're looking at the muscular profile, is going to match your event selection. What muscles we need to train, right, need to reflect the events you're going to swim. So one of the first things that anybody should ask you in a strength training program for a competitive or high performance swimmer is, right, what's your event? Now, prior to 8th grade, you should be training for all your events to see what develops, right? So there's a whole system that you use to get, right, a variety of areas developed so that they're ready, so that in 9th grade on, you can now focus and build it even further into your specialty event. Okay, so that's when you're going to need to have your specialty event. That's what they're looking for in college swimming, right, or in your national teams. They're looking for specialists. Once you get into 9th grade, you need to have a specialty. If you don't, you want to talk with somebody who's really, really good at that, like one of our consultants that can help you get right into where you need to be and select your events properly. Now let's move to layer 2. So the first layer, again, was the event selection that drives the muscular profile. And again, prior to 8th grade, we would be a more rounded program, whereas in 9th grade on, focusing on that specialty. Now, layer 2 is the exercise profile, right? So the exercise profile now going into the muscular profile, right? And so we use something called the ILS triad to make sure that you identify the motion, right? And most people that are involved in strength training, if they're not heavily involved in swimming, understand they can't identify the motions you need to make. Identify the motion, then you locate, right? That's the I. The L is locate the muscle that's causing the motion, and then select the appropriate exercises. Again, ILS, identify the motion, locate the muscle, and select appropriate exercises. Now, that's going to depend on your grade. So what grade you are in school and your experience and your background in strength training for swimming. So if you're in third grade, you want to take our Discover program and understand it. If you're in fourth to fifth, you want to be in what's called Explore. Sixth through eighth grades, the dryland variations, and then devices, ninth and 10th grade, and then weightlifting from 11th and 12th grade. So that's just a guideline, a basic guideline, right? So that's how you would kind of progress. Okay. Next layer, again, going back one more time, is your exercise profile in layer 2 will be based on your grade and your experience. So if you're a junior in high school and you have no experience, we don't want to throw you right into a weight program. That would not make sense. You need to build up. But you definitely, if you can, like to have at least junior and senior year in weightlifting and have some experience, because when you go to college, first thing that they may be putting you on is a strength training program, which is normally involving weights. So if that's the case, then you're going to want to have some experience. Otherwise, good possibility of getting injured. So they're expecting you to already have that background, a little bit of it. Layer 3 is the customization, right? So now we use what's called the FM race map. And if you're a member of our FM fast track, you would have access to that FM race map, and that will drive your cycle count. We're going to customize this for you now, right? And we're going to customize the strength program for you. The cycle count, how many times you need to perform an exercise, that drives that, right? So the cycle count indicates how many times you need to perform that exercise. Cycle rate, how fast you need to perform the exercise. So if you have to cycle at 1.36, certain exercises that we select need to reflect your cycle rate, because you want to train your body to contract at that rate. Now, you don't want to do that with a lot of different weights, because if you're doing weightlifting, that could cause injury if you're not, if you, for instance, make a mistake and a weight falls off or something like that. So there's only certain exercises that we want you to hit your cycle rate on, and that's very important. And then you have what's called baseline exercise or a max test. Okay, so that drives what resistance levels you need. So these are very important. This isn't just go out over and do 100 push-ups, right? We need cycle count, cycle rate, baseline exercise, and max test. And that's where we customize it right to your body and your selected, your background and your selected exercise that we have, right? And again, your background that you had in it. So that's layer 3. All right, one more time, going back to layer 3, that's where we customize it with the race map, finding your cycle count, cycle rate, baseline exercise, and max test. Now we go to level 4, and there you're going to need what's called a progression schema, something that helps you progress. It should be designed to help you progress, right? And so the first consideration is that we're going to need to know your seasonal phases. When you're starting training, when you're ending training, when you need to taper. And this is very important, because if you don't know, your strength taper should dovetail with your taper for swimming. And there should be a 1 week in between. So you should normally have 2 weeks of taper for swimming, 1 week that you're doing normal training and swimming, if you're backing it up here. And before that, 2 weeks where you're tapering off your strength training. These are very important issues. So this is a seasonal phases. Next, we take into consideration how many reps to do, the types of sets you need to do, the rest that you need, and the resistance levels, right? From baseline to goal, from where you started to where you want to go to. And that progression schema needs to be designed properly. Otherwise, A, you can get injury, or B, right, you cannot progress. And you're spending all this time and effort trying to progress. So that's important. Okay, so these are, unfortunately, the 4 secrets of strength training for swimming. Is people don't know that they even exist. So they're just going to go in a weight room and they're going to see, you know, maybe a gym where they go and they say, oh, we know how to strength train you. Do you really? Would they know? Let's go back really quick. Would they know your event selection? That's the first thing. If they don't ask what's your event, that's a big indicator that they're probably not going to be able to train you properly if they don't know what your event is. They're going to get your muscular profile from that. Which muscles are we going to be training? And if they don't know swimming, they're not going to know the motions. Secondly, right, they're going to need to know your exercise profile, grade, and experience. Right? Where do you belong? What in regards to what should you be lifting along the way, moving from maybe 3rd grade up to 12th grade? How should you be strength training? The next layer, they need to customize it for you. Getting your cycle count, your cycle rate, your baseline exercise, and your max test. If they don't ask you how many cycles you're taking and what rate that you're going on, how can they train your muscle to contract at the proper rate if they don't know what the rate is? And some of them don't know even that there is a rate. And then layer 4, they need a progression schema, something that will take into consideration your seasonal phases, how many reps you need to do, how many sets you need to do, you know, what kind of rest you need to get, and the resistance level to take you from baseline to goal, and it's got to progress. Okay, so now you know the 4 layers of strength workout design. That's what fluid mechanics does for you. We design it right. Why they have such an impact on your swimming, you got it now, right? If you don't have this, how can you train your muscle to contract at the right rate if you're not actually doing that, right? So it's very important to know it. This is the critical, the critical role. Right? If you get this right, it'll play a critical role in your future. If you get it wrong, it'll play a different critical role in your future. Okay, I hope this was helpful. It helped you understand swimming a lot more. Now, just so you know, in the FM Fast Track, members that people that are members on the Fast Track, right? You're going to get the strength planner. It's already included, right? You also get a strength trial session online. It's all animated. It's fantastic. You can purchase, if you want, your FM strength video series that'll teach you exactly what type of exercises to do, how to do them, the whole works like that. And again, this is all for high performance swimming and for competitive swimmers. And you can also purchase strength workouts and order those, and we can design them for you. So sign up now for the FM Fast Track and get started if you're not already in it. Thank you.